everything that has come out in the last few hours. Talking about Jadon Sancho to Aston Villa because there's been a here we go and kind of a deal done on that. We're talking about the goalkeeper situation. What's next over there? But we start off by talking about the Jadon Sancho stuff. So Aston Villa Virgin agreement to sign Jadon Sancho from Manchester United. Deal for the 25-year-old winger to join Aston Villa on a season-long loan, almost done between clubs and with the England international. Manchester United retain option to extend contract until June 2026. And then you had from Fabrizio Romano, who's also said this. Jadon Sancho to Aston Villa, here we go. Deal in place for initial loan from Manchester United. Green light from United, and deal to be sealed with 4 more steps to follow next. Jadon Sancho will join Aston Villa. So, listen, that's another big deal. Jadon Sancho has left Manchester United finally, is again on another loan, which again is not what you want, but ultimately it makes a lot of sense for Manchester United to allow him to leave. I think he's a player who ultimately has not done enough in a Manchester United shirt, and again, he's a player on a lot of money now. Again, we've also seen from Fabrizio and other sources that this Sancho move depends on whether we do sign Emi Martinez. At this current moment, I think now with Sancho going, it does look very likely Manchester United will go out and sign Emi Martinez from Aston Villa. Again, on the goalkeeper situation, United obviously have about 8.5 hours to kind of get a deal done for San Lemons if they want to get him in. Personally, I don't think we will get Lemons. I think it will be Emi Martinez from Aston Villa. I think that's the deal that United wanted to go for. But on Sancho, I think it's time for him to go. Again, we see it's another loan, but so far we've got rid of Antony, which I'll talk about. We've got rid of Sancho on loan. We've got Antony on a permanent, Rashford on loan, Garnacho on a permanent. So the only one left really is Malacia, and Malacia is facing a race against time to seal an exit before the window shuts. Alche, along with other clubs, are interested in the defender, and United are waiting for a suitable offer. So you very well could see Malacia leave Manchester United before the end of the transfer window. Again, it probably will be on a loan, or hopefully you get a couple of million in a permanent deal. I think that's one that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I'm going to talk about the Antony stuff now. Real Betis reached agreement with Manchester United to sign Antony on a permanent. Real Betis initially wanted a straight loan, but deadline day deal for the 25-year-old winger, €25 million package plus 50% sell-on clause, no termination payment to the Brazil international by Manchester United. So we've got rid of another player that we didn't want at the club. I think getting rid of Antony is something that United have wanted to do for a while. Betis have been playing sort of kind of been messing around with Manchester United, not really wanting to get the deal done. Obviously, he still had a few years left on his deal. But again, you have to look at €25 million with a 50% sell-on clause isn't the worst. Isn't the worst deal in the world. I think if you look at Antony, he's a player who never really filled the hype and the expectation that he had when he first came to Manchester United. It was a ridiculous wage as well that he was on. I think 200 grand. It was a ridiculous fee that we paid for him. What was it, 75 million euros or 85 million euros was never sort of the price Manchester United wanted to go for. But yeah, listen, with Antony, I think he'll do well at Betis. I think it's a good move for him. It's on a permanent deal, so United will get some sort of money for him. I think the expectation is for him to obviously move from Betis. He's at a good club, and yeah, that's really all to say on that. I think with Antony, he's another player that again United have got money for, and you look at that €25 million for Antony. You got 40, so that's about £22 million. You got about £40 million for Garnacho. That's 60. You saved money on Højlund's wages. You saved money on Rashford's wages. Sancho's wages will hopefully be covered. Now he's just left to Malacia, and hopefully we do bring in that goalkeeper, which we will talk about now. So Aston Villa are interested in Sancho, amid Manchester United interested in their goalkeeper. Martinez and Sancho on similar wages, with the former on 200 grand a week. Galatasaray are watching Andre Onana after missing on Ederson and Donnarumma. Onana has been told he can leave on loan if United bring in a new keeper, so we could very well see an exit for Onana if we do bring in Le Mans. And we have agreed personal terms, but there's not an agreement. His preference is to sign for United. That is on Sen Le Mans. So Listen, it all depends. I don't really know what is going to happen with the goalkeeper situation, if we're being honest, in the last couple of hours of the window. This is coming out from The Athletic. Manchester United have agreed personal terms with Royal Antwerp goalkeeper Son Lemons. There's not yet a club-to-club agreement. The 23-year-old would love to travel to United this morning, if the deal has a realistic chance of completion ahead of the evening transfer deadline, with Aston Villa also monitoring the situation. So, listen, a lot of clubs interested in signing him. Again, United need a goalkeeper, and I think we will get one very, very soon. This Martinez one has kind of come at the deadline, but the one good thing that's kind of happened is Manchester United get rid of Sancho. I think that's something that has needed to happen for a while, and again, we finally got that deal over the line. In terms of the overall transfer window, I think it has been positive so far. As I said, there have been sort of concerns on what's kind of happening with Manchester United at the moment, but so far we've brought in some decent players, and yeah, all in all, I think I'd be very, very happy so far. I wouldn't rate it sort of a 10 out of 10, but all in all, I think it has been a pretty solid window for Manchester United to kind of look at. In terms of what's going to happen next, I think Manchester United will go out and sign Le Mans from Royal Antwerp. I think that's what United are going to do. I think we'll also potentially get rid of Onana, obviously get that Antony and Garnacho and Sancho deals all out of the way. Then we can finally focus in on bringing in someone else. Again, ideally, you would want Manchester United to bring in a midfielder, but I don't think that's going to happen. We've obviously been linked to no really midfielders. We've been linked to quite a few keepers, but yeah, that's really about it. In terms of other clubs, obviously we've seen Liverpool sign Alexander Isak for, was it 130 million? So again, they're looking very, very sharp. Obviously we have the Manchester derby, which is coming up after the international break, which again, Manchester United go into that game looking better than Manchester City, higher in the table. Obviously City have bought in Donnarumma as well, so they're another club bringing in goalkeepers as well. But listen, I think it's going to be big kind of 24 hours in terms of the win. Not big 24 hours, was it 8.5 hours we got left? But yeah, listen, the Jadon Sancho, here we go. It's kind of the big one. Again, other clubs are doing very, very well. So yeah, let's see what happens there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. But it's looking like it's going to be a hectic sort of 8.5 hours for Manchester United. But yeah, I'm excited. I'll bring you all the latest news as it does happen. At the moment, still no midfielder for Manchester United. But yeah, let's see what happens there. But listen, there's not really much else to kind of talk about. If anything does break, we will go live. It is transfer deadline day. Looking at Jadon Sancho to loan what happened. Contract with Manchester United due to expire in the summer, but could be extended by an additional year. So yeah, listen, I've seen people talking about Baleba saying we've made 135.3 million in sales plus loan fees. People say make the bid for Baleba. Do I think that's going to happen? No, it'd be obviously ideal, but I don't think we will sign Carlos Baleba this window. I think the most realistic signing would be in January to sign him, or definitely next summer, but loads of clubs will be interested in signing him. But all in all, I think the main priority was we've bought in players. We've bought in Sesko, Cunha, and Burma, Diego Leon, which again is pretty impressive to bring them in, and we've got rid of Garnacho, Antony, Sancho, Rashford, Højlund, as well as bringing in some other players, hopefully as well in the last kind of hour to the window. But let's see what does happen with Manchester United at the moment. People are like, who would you prefer, Lemons or Martinez. I think they're two interesting keepers. Maybe we get a surprise of you bring in both and then you get rid of Onana. That'd be something that's definitely ideal. But yeah, at the moment there's kind of been nothing on what we need. I think any goalkeeper that we sign ideally would be a kind of upgrade on what Manchester United have at the current moment. I think Binder and Onana are only good enough, and we've seen that so far. In the games that we played, I mean, 4 games we played. Obviously, Binder started all of them in the league and hasn't looked nowhere near good enough for Manchester United, and certainly the quality that we need. We've obviously had Onana as well start against Grimsby, and it was just a typical Onana performance. Again, if Martinez was to come in, he would be on a lot of wages, but he's a significant upgrade on Onana. Yes, he's got issues, but I think he's definitely a better goalkeeper than Onana and Binder. And I think that's something that, listen, he's a demanding guy at the back. He's very passionate and loud. And again, he just secured that defensive line a lot better than what it currently has been. If I had to pick one to keep of Binder and Onana, it would probably be Onana. If I'm being very honest, I don't know. That Binder isn't great, neither is Onana. But if I had to pick one, it would be Onana. I know that could be quite divisive, but I think certainly if you look at Onana, I think he has better all-round attributes. But hopefully some Turkish clubs will come in for Binder. Obviously the Turkish window is still open for another 2 weeks, I think. So that could be something that United do kind of profit from. And that's why, again, we could go out and get 2 goalkeepers today, Martinez and Lemons, and then hopefully get rid of Onana or Binder, hopefully both of them. But that could be something that does go on there. I think there are very, very good keepers out there. I think what I would do is get Martinez now because he's ready to go and he's a very, very good player. And then maybe in 2 or 3 years you go and get another keeper, whether that is Vitek from, well, he's at Manchester United, or you go and get out, there'll be another young keeper up and coming. But I think right now we don't need to go with the experiment. I think we need someone that is kind of fixed and proven and ready to go. And I think that's something Manchester United are hoping to kind of go for at this current moment, which I completely understand. Now, in terms of over window, what would you rate the window out of 10? I mean, listen, Cunha is a very good signing, and Burmo very good, and so is Benjamin Sesko. In terms of exits, I think we need to get rid of Sancho. Garnacho going was good as well. We've got 40 million there. Ideally, we'd want 50, but 40 million will do. Rashford has gone on loan. Højlund's gone as well on a loan. 6 million loan with obligation. And Antony's gone to Betis on a permanent deal. So all in all, I'd probably give it a 7. I think if you bring in a goalkeeper and you get rid of a few more players, I think it could be a very good window. I still think we are missing that midfielder, but just something that we have needed to get for a while. But yeah, all in all, I'll be happy with what we've kind of seen so far. But people are saying the fact that Sancho has gone to Aston Villa can kind of mean that we are going to get Emi Martinez. Again, that is kind of what the general consensus is coming out from everyone online at the current moment, that if you do get Sancho to Villa, which has happened, you do get Martinez. Again, you save money on wages with Sancho, but then you do obviously get the big wages with Emi Martinez. So let's see what kind of happens there with the goalkeeper stuff. But yeah, we've had the Jadon Sancho, here we go. Again, midfielder, I don't think we are going to get one. I think at the moment United are fully focused on bringing in a goalkeeper and focused on getting rid of some players, which we have done so far. I think that if we had to talk about the best sale, I think it would probably be, well, we've only really had 2 permanent sales in Garnacho and Antony. If I had to pick, I think again we should have got more for both. I think Garnacho should have got 50 million for, and I think Antony maybe 30 million pounds. But I'd have to probably pick Garnacho in terms of the best exit, or even if it's on loan. Sancho has to be the best by far. I think getting rid of Sancho, it looked very tricky to do so at the start. It's been very, very good. So yeah, all in all, very, very happy with the start to the window, to the end of the window. I mean, the fact that we had our first sale this late is quite concerning. What was it, 28th of August? 30th of August we got the first. sort of exit for Garnacho. But listen, you know how United operate. I think we've had a pretty solid window so far, and yeah, we continue to go from here, kind of looking at who we're going to bring in next in the remaining hours. So yeah, let's see what happens. But that's it for now.